Welcome to this webinar on the L&T Seawoods property. Thank you so much for joining us. Just waiting for a few more participants to join in. I think we have more than 100 people joining this webinar today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this property, L&T Seawoods, which is India's first transit-oriented development. I'm going to go through the investment note and the financial model. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the market and uh, the market in Navi Mumbai, the infrastructural initiatives that are being taken up there, and then I'm going to take up questions that you may have on the property. So yeah, I think we have enough people who've joined in now. So let me quickly take you to the investment note and run you through that, and then I'll be happy to take any questions that you guys may have. All right. Okay, so L&T Seawoods. All right, so uh, quick thing about this development. Uh, Seawoods, the project is called L&T Seawoods because there is a Seawoods railway station right underneath this development. And what the government did is the government told L&T to redevelop the railway station, make it a brand new transit hub that connects Navi Mumbai all the way south to Panvel and further north to Thane, and then also the harbor line that connects Navi Mumbai to central and south Mumbai, with stops at Dadar and CST, right? And in exchange, the government gave L&T this particular parcel of land in order to develop a high-end commercial building, a retail mall, and some residential, which they are developing in the second phase on a long-term lease, right? So the transit development is now complete. Seawood Station is operational. The mall that is on the ground, first and second floor, is operational as well. That particular mall has been bought by Blackstone Real Estate Fund, which is the world's largest real estate fund, also the fund that I used to work for before. And it is 1 million square feet. It's fully operational. It has tenants like Zara and H&M, Lifestyle, all the big brands doing extremely well right now. It is the only big mall in Navi Mumbai and Thane area. So a lot of catchment there. The two office towers that you see here, Tower A and Tower B, both of which are 900,000 square feet each. And the first tower, the tower on the right, is owned by Blackstone above the mall. The other tower on the left, also 900,000 square feet, L&T has sold to various people, including Blackstone, small investors, right? The Blackstone tower is likely going to be leased to WeWork, the global co-working space, $20 billion company, which is going to take up the entire building. And on the left, the tower that we are buying is already 85% leased. The top two floors are taken up by Teva Pharma, which is a multi-billion-dollar US pharma company. There is JK Ansell, which is a joint venture between Raymond and Australian manufacturing company called Ansell. Also, the Actuaries Institute of India has purchased quarter of a floor and rented it out to themselves. SBI Life Insurance has bought an entire floor and they occupy it themselves. Right, so a lot of end users, a lot of financial services companies, technology companies, and pharma and manufacturing companies. Right, the great thing about this development is. Number one, the Seawoods railway station is right underneath. So for employers, it's a great draw for them to hire people, because employees are extremely happy to come here. They just take the train to Seawoods, step out, brand new terminal, and take the lift up to the respective office floors. There's also a fully functional mall, like I mentioned, where the employees can access the food court or do some shopping. There's a buzz there all the time. And the office itself is a very high-end development, a gold LEED certified building, triple height lobbies. We'll see some of the photos as we go through this presentation, right? And uninterrupted sea views from the fifth floor onwards. As far as our unit is concerned, which you can see here marked, it's on the ninth floor. So it's the same. The 10th and 11th floors have been taken up by Teva Pharma, and we are purchasing the next best floor, which is the ninth floor with a sea view. So if you see this photograph, you can see that each of the towers is is shaped like a T, right? And the one that you see behind, the tail part of the T actually faces the Panvel Hills, right? And it's not is not desirable from a tenant's point of view. I mean, still a very good floor and good views, but the ones in front have a view of the sea, so they have been taken up first. Ours is the only unit left here which has not been leased, simply because it was not put on the market till now. Because of our relationship with Blackstone and L&T, we got this floor at this price of 13,302, which the last time they sold it at that price was almost 2 years ago. So we got a really good deal. Obviously, what also helped us was the fact that the check size was 23 crores. So, we could get some discount, which we of course pass on to all the investors. Right. So, also on the ninth floor, Teva Pharma has a right of first refusal on this floor to lease the space. So, since they are already on the 10th and 11th floor, it will give them contiguity of space, and they might just exercise that option, in which case, our floor will be immediately leased. The rent of 104 rupees is what Teva Pharma is paying, JK Ansel is paying in this building. So that has already been established, right? Now, talking quickly about the numbers, it's a 8.02% yield, which we are topping up to 9.02% for pre-book investors. Now, demand for this property has been exceptional. If you've been following our website, we are already almost 55% funded in 1 week. Right, we listed this last Thursday, and we are almost 12 to 13 crores funded here. So most likely, pre-book is going to end pretty quickly in this case. The price is at 11% discount to what L&T sells for 15,000 rupees a square foot. Uh, um, if we move on to the second slide, you can see here beautiful development. If you see the aerial view, nice big roads in front, uh, a view of the sea on the north and south sides, the facade in front, the lobby. If you see the photo at the bottom, it is a triple height access controlled lobby. The mall on the right hand side, fully operational, multinational tenants. Just to give you a quick view of who the tenants are: H&M, Zara, Lacoste, all the big international names, fully functional. If you look at the master plan, this is how it is. The railway station is at the back, below the mall level. There are two office towers, like I was mentioning, 1 and 2. That's the property share unit. Tower 1 is owned by Blackstone. The retail is at the bottom. Um the future development at the back is where L&T is going to build some residential. They are going to sell the residential at 17 to 20,000 rupees a square foot. So you can kind of see how prices are moving in this development. And Navi Mumbai in itself doesn't command a price that is as much as this development, and the reason for that is this is an integrated development. A person who's living here or working here gets access to the mall, the station, everything. So that obviously adds a lot of value to anybody who owns real estate here. This is how the T that I was talking about. There are three wings: D, E, and F. And D and F are the best wings because, like I was mentioning, they face the sea. That is one. And the second thing is, if you see wing D and wing F, there is glass on three sides. So amazing light all through the unit. Great views, ninth floor. It's the most premium space in this building. Just to run you through the key investment highlights: the highest rental yield on the platform to date, 9.02%, which increases to 9.16 after 3 years with the 15% escalation. A 17% IRR, two times your investment in 5 years, assuming very conservative growth rates, which we will come to when we discuss the model. a platinum grade building, A plus, already certified by the international certification body LEED as gold. Uh, 6 months rent guarantee. Now, this is something that a lot of people have asked us about, and I'm going to talk about in quite some detail here. The way the 6 months guaranteed is set up is we negotiated with L&T saying, look, the unit is vacant. Yes, there have been already three tenants who've been looking at it, including Teva Pharma, but right now it is vacant. So, we want a 6 month rent guarantee at 104 rupees, which is the current rent, irrespective of whether there is a tenancy or not. And in the course of the negotiations, L&T said, fine, we will give you that 6 months rent guarantee, or you can go at a lower price. You can either take a price of 13,300, or you can take a price of 13,900 with the rent guarantee. And obviously we said 13,300 because then we have control over the rent guarantee of 600 rupees a square foot. So this property will most likely fund or get closed in the next 15 to 20 days. The registration will be scheduled at around mid to end April. So anyway, we have time till April. After April, we have another 6 months of rent guarantee, which takes us all the way till November. So we have time till November to rent this property without seeing any loss of cash flows to investors. Uh, right. Another way to think about it is if there's no rent guarantee, then it's a 9.4% yield, and that is obviously very, very high compared to what other instruments are paying investors in the market today. In terms of connectivity, like I was mentioning, Seawoods is well connected to entire Mumbai, as well as three big infrastructural developments are coming up there. I think we'll speak about it here. Now, what's happening over here is the dotted line connecting Navi Mumbai to Central Mumbai. That's the Trans Harbour Link, right? That's a 22-kilometer link that is being that will connect Navi Mumbai and Panvel to Central Mumbai. This tender has been awarded to L&T, and they have already started construction of this link. As per current timelines, 2022 is what has been uh, what L&T is promising. It could be 2023 or 2024, but the important thing is this link is going to connect Navi Mumbai to Central Mumbai. It's going to be a 20-minute drive to Central Mumbai after this is done. The new international airport, this was inaugurated by the Prime Minister himself in the week of February 10th, where he laid the foundation stone. GVK has been awarded this airport. They also manage, of course, the current airport in Mumbai. Both are going to be operational. Both are going to take international and domestic flights. The first runway and the first terminal is expected to be done by December 2019, which looks pretty aggressive right now. But even if it gets done by 2020 or 2021, because our whole period is 4 to 5 years, I think we will be benefited tremendously by this, because whenever a new airport comes up, residential builds around it, all the airlines need to have offices. They need to book hotels for their staff, for the ground staff, as well as for the flight attendants, and that just leads to a small little boom in that part of the region. And of course, infrastructure development is accelerated because you need better roads to connect the airport to the city. So this is something that I'm very excited about, that we are all very excited about. I think this is going to lead to tremendous um, demand growth in this region, and capital value appreciation for all properties in Navi Mumbai, right? So connectivity wise, fantastic location, great connectivity already through the railway system and the new airport, plus the Trans Harbour Link. The other thing that's not mentioned here is the Navi Mumbai Metro, which is also running through CBD Belapur, which is 2 kilometers from the Seawoods property. That is going to be completed next year. So there's going to be a metro connectivity, the traditional railway line, new airport, Trans Harbour Link. It's all the infrastructural developments that you can think of is going to come to this part of the city. Now let's quickly run through the purchase price. Like I was mentioning, 13,302 rupees per square foot. That's the purchase price that we've negotiated. We've already paid L&T an upfront fee, signed an agreement with him. We need to make the payment over the next 2 to 3 months. 6% stamp duty, 6 months rent guarantee, which is what I was talking about, 90 lakhs. The additional expenses, 44 lakhs. That is also a bit conservative. Basically, what L&T wants us to pay is the maintenance of 12 rupees per square foot for 12 months. So in case a tenant comes in the next 3 to 4 months, this entire amount will be refunded to investors. Uh, We've kept a 10 lakh reserve. Legal fees, as usual, the diligence will be done by Amarchand Mangaldas. They've already started it. It should be complete in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We will be sharing the diligence report. I don't see anything that'll come up in that report because Amarchand has already done the same report for Blackstone when they purchased the mall on the other office. So we already know that was clear. Blackstone has already invested here, right? So in terms of the discount to market price, like I was mentioning, already we are in at a 11% discount. That's because L&T sells at 15,000 smaller units of 1,000, 1,200 square feet to smaller investors, which frankly are tougher to lease. You don't get multinational tenants for smaller leases. You end up getting CA firms or legal firms who don't always pay on time, who are not great tenants. So 14,000 square feet area is most likely going to attract multinational tenants like Teva Pharma or JK Ansel. We've already hired JLL and CBRE. We've given them the mandate to look for tenants. They've already had 2 inspections done by 2 tenants. So I don't think we need to wait till November to get this space leased. Most likely by the middle of this year or even earlier, we might just rent this space out. In terms of the rental yield, it's pretty straightforward because 104 rupees is something that's already established. Teva Pharma is already paying it. JK Ansel is already paying it. L&T in fact quotes 115 when a new tenant comes there and then negotiates it down to 104. Right now, here I just wanted to speak about three very important things that can lead to tremendous upside for investors over and above this 9% yield and the 17% IRR. The first one is the rent might be much higher than 104, right? 104 is something that tenants have already paid here in the last 3 to 4 months. Uh, and rents have been increasing by 8 to 10% a year here in the last 2 to 3 years. So, we should not be surprised if by the time we lease this space, we will get a rent of 110 or 108 rupees, in which case the rental yield and the IRRs will both shoot up. The second important upside here is fit outs, right? So if a new tenant comes in and the tenant asks us to do the fit outs, which is property share and our investors, then that will be a tremendous upside for us because the rental yield on fit outs is close to 20%, right? Fit outs will cost us around 1,200 to 1,300 rupees a square foot, and the tenant will pay us anywhere between 20 to 25 rupees a square foot for those fit outs, which will obviously take the rental yield from 9% all the way till 11 or 12%. Right? That's a big upside that could happen in this deal. We will know once we find the tenant, right? Uh, and the third thing is, this rental guarantee amount most likely will be unused and therefore will be returned to all the investors in the next 3 to 4 months itself. In case we find a tenant by April or May, then there is no use of having a rental guarantee amount, and the entire amount will be distributed, reducing the purchase price by 100 rupees and per square foot, and increasing the rental yield to 9.4%. So, I think these three are very, very important considerations if you're looking to invest in this property. Sources and users, we're going to fund it, obviously all equity, no debt option available in this listing, simply because we feel that it's too risky to take debt in a vacant floor, right? It is better to take debt when there are 2 or 3 tenants or multi-tenanted office building. The rental yield 8.02 goes to 9.16% right now, 9.02% payable immediately to all investors. In terms of the tenancy overview, like I was speaking earlier, Teva Pharma, 43,000 employees, multi-billion dollar company, already occupies the entire 10th and 11th floor. JK Ansel, Austrian company manufacturing medical gloves. They occupy Wing F on the seventh floor. SBI Life Insurance, it's a $10 billion life insurance JV between SBI and BNP Paribas. They occupy 100,000 square feet, which they have purchased an entire floor. And in terms of the indicative lease terms, which you mentioned to CBRE and JLL, when they are marketing this property, lease up period, the lease up period, the reason we've taken 6 months is we have rent guarantee of 6 months, so we have that much time to rent this property. Or after that, in the model, we are factoring another 2 months with no rent, just to be extra conservative, saying that we may have to give a 2 month rent-free period to the tenant in case they want to do the fit outs, right? So even if the lease commences by January 19, there will be absolutely no loss of income or cash flow to any of the investors. The monthly rent of 104, which, like I mentioned, is most likely going to go up. The standard terms of the lease escalation every 3 years, 15%, 9-year lease, 3-year lock-in. We might even get a higher lock-in if we do the fit outs, which is obviously really good. Now coming to the financial model, straightforward. We purchased this property for 23.17 crores all in. In the first year, we've shown a rent for only uh, 4 months, because we've taken 6 months of rent guarantee plus 2 months of rent-free period, like I was mentioning. The rent top-up comes in there from property share for pre-book investors. There's a rent guarantee amount that you see there. Interest on deposit, pretty standard, 6% on a 6-month deposit. No, 8-month deposit, and then the rent kind of kicks up to a full year, 1 crore 78 lakhs from year 2, jumps up to 2 crore 5 lakhs in at the end of year 4. Right now, if we look at the selling prices, this is why I really like this deal, because at property share, the first thing that we look at is conservation of capital more than anything else. If you look at the sensitivity at the bottom, even if there is a 5% escalation only, right? Instead of the 10% that we've assumed, and the selling price is therefore 20,000 rupees, which is uh, uh, hardly 5,000 rupees more than what we are paying all in 5 years' time. We will still end up making a 13% return and 1.7 times multiple of capital, right? So even in the worst case scenario, this property will give extremely good returns, right? What is more likely to happen is a 15% escalation, which is, once the airport comes in, the Trans Harbour Link gets built, metro, everything gets connected. We could see a big spike in capital values here, which could give us more than 20% returns and 2.4x. So there is a big opportunity to hit a home run here, while on the downside conserving our capital and returns. Just a couple of quick case studies on previous properties. Brigade Tech Park, which we funded in 40 days. We have 40 investors there, and if you look at how what kind of investors we have, most of our investors work in technology, financial services. 30% of them are NRIs. Most of the investment is between 20 to 50 lakhs. Same one for the capital BKC. Most of the investment was between 20 to 50 lakhs. In terms of age, which is not mentioned here, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50 is the age bracket where most of our investors fall into. Some of the companies that our investors work in: Google, SAP Labs, Saudi Aramco in Saudi Arabia, Kufpek in Kuwait. We have Accenture, Cognizant, Microsoft, all the big tech companies, blue chip financial services companies like Goldman Sachs, Jefferies, Standard Chartered, um, name it. Um, just the dashboard, the way it looks to investors, you get to see, where all your investments are spread across different properties, types of properties, your monthly rental income, which properties you're invested in. You can go in and see every detail, how much you've invested, what is the current value of the property, uh, who's the tenant, all the financials, all the documents are uploaded here, which you can see: the sale deed, sale agreement, the tenancy agreement. Um, so that's about it on this property. Uh, I am I'm now going to take some questions from all of you. So in case you guys have any questions, please feel free to Feel free to ask. The first question is from Divyansh. Why is brokerage charged if you're buying directly? Well, it's actually not a direct deal from L&T. JLL again is involved in this transaction. JLL is the official marketing agent for this property. So when we do the property tour, which should happen in the next week or so, JLL will be there with us to take us through this property. We are planning to do a property tour in about a week to 10 days time, where we'll walk the entire property, go to the mall, see the station, walk the entire floor, and so on. Raman is asking, is this an outright purchase or a long lease? Every every transaction where the government gives land to a private company is a long lease. In Mumbai, for example, in BKC, the entire Bandra Kurla complex is a long lease from MMRDA, including the last property, 100-year lease, which can be renewed. Ashutosh is asking, taking a conservative look, what happens if property couldn't be rented for more than 6 months and later finally landing in with actual rents far below the existing? So Ashutosh, like I was mentioning, we have a 6-month rent guarantee, which takes us till the end of the year to find a tenant. But in case even after that, for 6 months, we don't find a tenant, then the only thing that we will need to pay is the monthly maintenance, which is 12 rupees per square foot, which anyway, like I was mentioning, in the all-in price, L&T has asked us to pay upfront. So there will not be any cash flow, but I doubt that that situation is going to land up. Syed Hassan is asking us, what are the likely risk factors, if any, on a very conservative level? So, Syed, the only risk here, like Ashutosh was mentioning, is that the property does not get leased, which is very highly unlikely because it's already 85% leased on one tower, 100% other tower, operational mall, railway station already functional. I don't see that happening. Already 3 tenants looking at the property as we speak. Srinivas M asking, are the transactions completely legal? Not sure what that question means, but of course, if the transaction is absolutely legal, the owner is L&T, they are selling it to us, we are going to buy it. Yes, Das, are all encumbrances clear in this project? Absolutely, Mr. Das. It has already been vetted by Amarchand. The daily report is already been issued to Blackstone Real Estate Fund, who has already invested money in the project. Therefore, it is absolutely clear. Aditya Kanodia is asking us, how will you ensure exit from the investment? We don't ensure any exit from investment, Aditya. If you've not followed us before, there are 3 ways to exit this investment. You can wait for us to sell the property, which we do in between 4 and 5 years, or you can sell your share on the platform at any time. We have more than 40,000 registered users. You can sell to any of them. The latest it has ever taken us to sell a share is about 15 to 18 days. The last share in Brigade Tech Park got sold in 10 hours. If you want to read more about that sale, you can go to our website. There is a testimonial by Srujan Murahari, who works in Cisco, who just sold his share at a 16% IRR within 4 months of his investment, within 12 hours of listing. Right. So the next one is from a lot of questions here. So let me take up this one here from Prabhat Kumar Singh is asking, actual rental yield in the hands of the investor after deducting all charges and taxes. I think it is around 6%. You can ask for that Excel sheet from our investor relations team, and they'll send it to you. It's a net 6% post-tax, post-fees, post-expenses yield. Srinivas is asking, will the selling procedure will be smooth as like buying? Yes, like I was mentioning, you can listen to what Srujan has to say, one of our investors, on our website there. Raman is asking, if we have to do the fit out, how is it funded? Very interesting question, very important question. There are 2 options for this. So the fit out of 1200 rupees per square foot on 14,000 rupees will cost us around 2 to 3 crores, right? And the most likely investors who should invest in this are the people who've already invested in the main property. So we will give an option to all the investors to invest in the fit out first. If certain investors don't want to be part of the fit out, which I don't see why, because the yield is so high, then we will raise that particular money separately. The next question is from CoTP. What is the minimum investment? It's 20 lakhs. Shirisha is asking us, can you elaborate performance fee, annual fee, and end fee? Well, there are only two fees that we charge, Shirisha, and it's there on the website. One is the management fee, which we charge 1% a year on your investment. So if you invest 20 lakhs, 20,000 rupees a year, which is around 1,500 rupees a month. And there's a performance fee, which we charge at the time of sale. So if at the end of 5 years, if we sell this property at more than an 8% IRR to investors, then the 8% will come to investors, and anything above 8, we will take a 20% performance fee. For example, let's say that you invest 100 and we sell at the end of the year for 120, then 108 will come to you, and of the excess 12, we will take 20%, which is 2.4. Therefore, you will get 17.6 and we will get 2.4. The reason we have the performance fee is that it incentivizes property share to sell at the highest rate possible at the time of sale. And the reason we have the 8% is because when we started property share, 8% used to be the FD rate. Now it's gone down to 6, but we've still kept it at 8. What we are saying there is, if the investment returns only 8%, then there is no use for us. Then we should not be getting any fees whatsoever. But if we are able to give a fee that is above a return that is above the risk-free rate in India, then we should get 20% performance fee. Next question is from Aziz, who's asking, understand it is an SPV setup. Tell me the rental return after tax. Well, Aziz, I already answered that question a couple of minutes ago. It's going to be 6%. Ankit is asking, hi Kunal, can you please explain the process if I want to sell only a part of my investment? Example, I invested 20 lakhs at the beginning, but due to some reason, I want to sell 25% of my investment. So Ankit, the lot sizes at which you can trade are 10 lakhs. So you can't sell 25%, which is 5 lakhs. You can sell it in two lots of 10 lakhs each. So you will get 2 units of 10 lakhs each. The procedure for that is you go to your dashboard, click on sell. I want to sell. You specify the price at which you want to sell. So let's say that the property has appreciated by 10%. You can sell 10 lakhs at 11 lakhs. What the current value is will be updated on the dashboard every 3 months when we get a valuation done by JLL. So you can choose to sell at anything above the valuation, at the valuation, or below the valuation. At this point of time, all the investors in that property first get an option to buy your share. And at this stage itself, the share gets sold. We've seen 90% of the sales happening at this stage itself, where investors in that property get the first right to buy your share. Therefore, they will buy your share. If they don't exercise that option, they have 14 days to do that. We list it on our platform, on the resale platform. If you go to property shares, properties page, there's a resale platform there where we list properties that people want to sell, and there it gets sold. Like I was saying, the average time it has taken us is between 15 to 18 days. So very, very liquid. One of the other advantages of investing through property share. The other thing that I want to mention here is when you sell your share, you don't need to pay stamp duty of 6%, which saves you 60,000 rupees for a 10 lakh slot. The reason is that you are selling shares of an SPV and not the property itself. That's a big advantage. Next question is from Sagar, who's asking, can you please explain the rent guarantee in detail? So like I was mentioning, there's a 6-month rent guarantee here, Sagar, 90 lakh rupees baked into the purchase price. Without the rental guarantee, it is a 9.4% yield. With the rental guarantee, it's a 9% yield. What the rent guarantee means is that we have time till April or May to complete this registration. Post that, we have 6 months where there will be no loss of cash flow to investors. 104 rupees per square foot will be paid every month to investors as rent. And in the meantime, if something gets leased up, then of course the whole entire rent guarantee gets distributed to all the investors immediately. Next question from Suresh. What about the registration structured for property? It's a pretty open-ended question. I guess you mean how we register the property. So the registration of the property will happen between mid to end of April, and it will happen in the name of the SPV, which is Property Share Commercial Properties LLP. The property will be registered in the LLP's name. You will become a partner in the LLP, and therefore you can sell your share anytime you want. By when will the LLP be in place? Mr. Das is asking. The LLP is already in place, Mr. Das. It's we open an LLP even before we list a property. We have one always in standby. So the LLP has already been created. Property Share Commercial Properties LLP. The bank account should be opened in a couple of days. Next question from Anup. Anup is asking us. Let me pull that up. All right. So if the client asks for fit outs in the new space, how will that money be funded? Anup, I already answered that question ahead. Next question by Koti. What is the minimum area I can buy and the minimum amount of investment? 20 lakhs is the minimum investment. Nirav is asking, can you explain the legal structure being developed between investors and property shared? Well, investors own the property directly through the LLP, and the investors then sign a property management agreement with property shared separately. Right. Once you sign the EOI and transfer 10% of the investment amount, you get to see the property management agreement, the LLP agreement, and the draft sale deed. Uh, by when the balance payment will be required? The balance payment of 90% is only required a week before registration, which is between mid and end to April. Deepak is asking, why is the debt option not available? Like I was mentioning, Deepak, this is a vacant property. We don't want the investors to take a risk on a vacant property by taking a loan. So, that option is not available. Mr. Rao is asking, can you upload the property tour in the website so that who can't make it can't view online? Mr. Rao, that's not always possible because we don't do a video recording of the property tour. We might do it this time. We've been thinking about doing it, but you will see photographs of the property and photographs of the participants who attended the property tour. Sushant is asking us, investors will bear the cost of fit outs. If yes, how much? Like as mentioning, it will be about 2 crores. Ramesh, how monthly rent is paid to investors? Bank transfers every month straight into the account that you specify to us. Next question from Sirisha. End fee seems to be 20% on entire capital appreciation since rental yield is already 8%. Yes, that is correct, 8%, but 8% is before the 8% that we use to calculate the performance fee is net of management fee. So it'll not be 8%, it'll be less, it'll be around 7%. The next question from Swaminathan, when do you need the money? Well, if you need to book your slot in the property because it's kind of fast selling right now, you'll need to transfer 10% immediately and sign the EOI in order to get the pre-book. Once it comes out of the pre-book, you wait only 8% and not 9%. And as far as the remaining 90% is concerned, like I was mentioning, it'll be between mid and end of April. Raman is asking, you mentioned 6% post-tax yield. This is post-income tax paid by LLP, that is tax-free in the hands of the investor. Absolutely, yes. Once the tax is paid by the LLP, there is no need for you to pay tax on the 6%. It's absolutely post-tax yield. At the end of March, we anyway do all the tax filing for all our investors. We tell them how to fill up the forms, etc. So there's a tax center in the dashboard which you can easily access once you become an investor. Mr. Rao is asking, does proportionate property register on our name or LLP model? It's LLP, like I was mentioning, because it's a 23 crore property. Salman is asking, is the 6% net yield of all expenses including management fee? Yes, it is including all expenses including management fee. So 9% minus 1 becomes 8, and the 20% tax on that is 1.6. So basically 6.4% is what you will get. Sirisa is asking, are you issuing TDS certificate on rental and capital gain? Absolutely. End of the year, the TDS certificate is issued to all investors and uploaded on the dashboard. Next question from Srinivas. What is the lock-in period for my investment? The lock-in period for investment is 0, Srinivas. There is no lock-in period. You can sell tomorrow, day after, anytime. Koti is asking us, for 20 lakhs investment, how much rent will I get per month? Please refer to the Excel sheet. I will send you you can mail our investor relations team at info@propertyshare.in. They will send you the Excel sheet for your 20 lakh investment. Next question from Mohini. Who does the registration? Who signs the document? And is there a power of attorney appointed? The registration is done by any partner of the LLP, a designated partner of the LLP, which will be property shared. So we will do the registration on behalf of all the investors. The registration will be in the name of the LLP, and it will be uploaded on the dashboard as well as on the website. So there is no power of attorney that is needed for registration. Sirisha is asking, what are the rights and duties of managing partners and investors? You can see that in the LLP agreement, Sirisha. Mohini again is asking, where does the money go in property shares, current account or escrow account? It will go directly in the properties LLP bank escrow account. Next question from Suresh. Monthly property maintenance charges to be paid by property share or mine? Monthly property maintenance charges are paid by the tenant, Suresh. It is 12 rupees per square foot. It is paid by the tenant over and above the rent of 104 rupees. So we don't need to worry about that. Mr. Sivakumar Gola is asking, what is the rate of taxation for the LLP? It is 21.6% is the rate at which you have to pay tax on the rental income. Srinivas is asking, EOI signed and sent, but bank details not yet for transfer of money. Yes, Srinivas, like I was mentioning, the bank account for this LLP has not been opened. I think on Monday or Tuesday, we should have it opened, so you can transfer your investment there. Uh, uh, Next question is from Raman. Can an LLP invest or only individuals? Can an LLP invest or only individuals? Not sure what that means, Raman. So I'm not sure what that means. Can an LLP invest? Yes, LLP can obviously invest. Oh, you mean LLP? Can an LLP invest in the LLP? Yes, an LLP can invest in the LLP. A private limited company can also be an investor, and HUF cannot be an investor because that is not allowed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And HUF cannot become a partner in the LLP. But other than that, a private limited company and LLP, anybody can become a partner in the LLP. Syed Hassan is asking us, when do you intend to take the prospective investors for a tour of the proposed property? Mr. Hassan, I think most likely it's going to be in about 10 to 15 days. We will let you know in advance. Aziz is asking how TDS will work here since it's an SPV, meaning can I claim TDS? No, you cannot claim TDS. The tax is paid by the SPV, after which it is tax free. So whether you are in the tax bracket or not, the 20% tax will need to be paid, and there will be no you will not be able to reclaim that TDS from the government. Moini is asking, is property share investing some of their own money in every property? Me and my co-founder are investors in the property. Property share, the company itself cannot become an investor in an LLP because since we have venture capital investment in property share, we are classified as an FDI company which cannot invest in real estate without the approval of the government. Next question from Raman. I think I answered that question, Raman. Can an LLP invest in the property? Sirisha, whether annual or quarterly reports are prepared and shared. We prepare a monthly newsletter every month for all investors, saying that, telling them this is the financials for this month, this is the income statement, this is the rent that has come in, this is the GST that was paid on top of the rent by the tenant, this is the net distribution made to you. On top of that, every quarter we have a valuation by JLL, which is also shared with all the investors. So we do annual reporting, quarterly reporting, as well as monthly reporting. Salman is asking, what is the worst case scenario if the space gets unoccupied? I think already answered that upfront, Salman. If you'll replay the recording, you'll find the answer to the question. Mr. Rao, so finally 6.4% is the yield poll tax. Absolutely yes. Suresh is asking us, made the 10% initial payment but unable to pay the rest amount. Rest amount will be refundable or not? Made 10% initial payment but unable to pay the rest amount. So I think what you are asking here is, if I pay the 10% but I'm not able to make the 90% payment, what happens? In that case, Suresh, we will charge the penalty of 50% of your 10%, which is 5% of your total investment amount. So if you invest 10 lakhs and you give us a 1 lakh deposit, then we will charge 50,000 rupees in case you don't make the funds available at the time of registration. The simple reason is that at that point of time, it will be tough for us to go looking around for another investor when we are 2 to 3 days from registration. It's not fair on the other investors to delay the process because one investor does not pay up their money. Ramesh, what kind of insurance is taken to safeguard property? There is a dual insurance that is taken, Ramesh. A dual insurance is taken. One, L&T themselves have registered this property fully. On top of that, property share takes an insurance for our floor against all types of activities: earthquake, cyclone, hurricane, terrorist attack, even the loss of rent. So it is fully insured. Next question from Sivakumar again. Can I do a resale of my share outside the property share portal in case I want to exit? Absolutely. You can sell it to anybody on your own. You don't need to go through the portal. You can sell it to a friend. You can sell it to an office colleague or some family member. You don't need to let us know that you've sold it, because then we have to substitute your name with the other person's name and file the LLP agreement with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Question from Nirav. Sorry, did not understand. For 20% tax on rent, 104 rupees per square foot is after tax or before tax? So 104 rupees is before tax, Nirav. The 9% yield is before tax, on which you have to pay 20% tax. So 20% of 9% is 1.8%. So 7.2% is what you get in your hand, right? Last few questions coming in from Sagar. If the property is leased out early and if the tenant asks for fit outs, will the rent guarantee fund and maintenance fund? Very good question, Sagar. Yes, if the property gets leased earlier and we have the rent guarantee amount with us, we can use that amount itself to do the fit outs. Good point. Moini is asking on the website, it shows 15,033 on 20 lakh investment. Is that the final amount put in the investor's bank account or is there tax? There is tax after that, Moini, like I was mentioning. Ankit, how is the signing of documents for buying and selling work? Do I need to sign the physical copy of the document, mail it to you? We do everything digitally, Ankit. If you've already been an investor, you will know that we use an international e-signing company called Adobe Sign, which we use to sign all documents. You don't need to be physically present at all. You can do every sign digitally in a matter of minutes on your phone or on your tablet. It is 100% recognized by the Indian Information Technology Act of 2000 and admissible in a code of law. Aditya Kanoria is asking, can you elaborate about the three potential tenants that are interested in the property? Yes, one of them is Teva Pharma. Two of them are multinational companies. Both of them have done one site visit. One of them is scheduled for a second site visit next week. So we will know more about that. Sirisha is asking, your website is not giving any details about resale transactions. Sirisha, if you go to properties, there is a tab called resale. You can just click on that one and you will see it. All right, so I'm going to take two more questions now. The last two questions for the day. How much is government taxes charged on this property? That's what Sagar is asking. The government taxes will be very, very minimal, Sagar. As you know, it's about 1%, 1% of the total rent. So extremely small amount. Srinivas M is asking, can we have a site visit? Of course, if you are in Mumbai or if you are passing through Mumbai, please let us know and we will fix up a site visit for you directly with L&T. You can go there, look at the floor, look at the property, walk the mall, and so on. Divyansh is asking any successful exits. Yes, like I was mentioning, you can go to the website and have a look at Srujan's testimonial. There are many more of those which we are going to upload on the website very soon. There's going to be an investor section which will be live on Monday, Tuesday, where you can see where our investors work, how much they invest, what is their average age, and so on. Okay, this is the last question that I'm taking from Salman. How much is the total expense for making the purchase, including tax, on 20 lakhs? Already answered that question multiple times, Salman. So, it's a management fee of 1% and a 20% tax on the rent, which will, I think, get you to 6.4% odd net tax after tax yield. Right? Okay. Do you have an office in Hyderabad? No, we have an office only in Bangalore. If you ever come to Bangalore, you're free to come here and visit us and have a cup of tea with us and the team. Happy to meet you anytime, of course. We have a lot of investors who keep coming into office every week. All right, so that's it for the day, gentlemen. So I hope I was able to answer all your questions. If not, you can mail me direct privately at kunal.moktan@propertyshare.in. That's kunal.moktan@propertyshare.in. And I'll be happy to answer your questions straight away. You can also mail at info@propertyshare.in. And our investor relations team will be happy to answer your questions. You can call us directly on the number that is listed on the website, and Asma will be happy to answer your questions as well. So um, if there's any other questions that you might have, feel free to do that. The recording of this webinar will be up on the webinar section. So if anybody's missed it, or if you'd like to forward this webinar to any of your friends or family members, please do it. One last thing that I do want to mention is we do have a referral scheme as well. So in case you refer your friend or your family or somebody and he invests, then we pay 1% referral to you. That's 20,000 rupees on a 20 lakh investment or 1 lakh on a 1 crore investment. So please do keep that in mind. You can mail us directly and say that I've referred this person. In case he invests, we will pay you directly. Okay, I hope this session was helpful for you guys, and I hope that it will help you in making a decision about L&T Seawoods. It's just to summarize, it's a fantastic property, India's only transit-oriented development. Great infrastructure initiatives coming up in Navi Mumbai. Like I mentioned on the presentation, gold lead building, great tenants. Blackstone Real Estate Fund is already in this property, a fully functional and operational mall in the ground floor. It'll be one of the best mixed-use developments in the country. I'm sure it'll win many more awards in the future. So, if you've not yet made the decision, you should go to the website now, click on Invest Now, schedule a call, and move ahead. We are already about 60% funded here in a week's time, so most likely pre-book is going to end very soon. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, and speak to you soon again.